What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. It's your boy Gabe, and today we're doing pork ribs, but we are going to do Texas style pork ribs. Yes. So before we get started, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that sub button, that notification button, that way you can see more of these videos. Comment down below, tell me what you think, and let's get back to the video. So I want to do something over the course of a couple of videos. I want to do different styles of barbecue. Because I love doing barbecue. Barbecue's fun. So I also love ribs, so let's do it on ribs. So the first one we're going to start with is Texas style barbecue. Now, what is Texas style barbecue? Well, Texas style barbecue is kind of a different variation of combination of barbecues and whatnot. But the main difference in Texas style barbecue, preferably the northern central Texas region, is all of two very simple ingredients. Literally salt and pepper. That's it. Nothing else, just salt and pepper and thyme. So we're gonna do this style of barbecue, and then I'm gonna make a barbecue sauce that's kind of a Texas style barbecue sauce to go with it. Now, what are the other types, Gabe? Well, the other types, there's Texas, there's Memphis, there's Kansas City, and there's Carolinas and South and North Carolina. Maybe there's subtle differences, but they're kind of grouped into one. So Carolina, Texas, Memphis, and Kansas City. Those are the four big ones. So we're gonna do Texas. So I got here is a rack of ribs, and I'm not putting any mustard on it, any other seasonings, just salt, pepper into the smoker. Now, a lot of Texas barbecue, they use like pecan or hickory or even mesquite wood. I'm going to use my cherry wood still because it's still that sweet type of wood. So I'm going to use cherry wood, and we're going to smoke these until they're done. And like I said, we're going to make barbecue sauce for them and see how they taste. So the first thing I want to do is obviously take off my silver skin. And you should do that with any ribs, is always check to see if there's silver skin on it. And 90% of the time, honestly, maybe even 100% of the time, there's usually silver skin on it. But before I get too far ahead, I'm gonna put my glovies on. Especially when you get like, Kroger, Walmart, or Meijer, whatever type of ribs, they're gonna have the silver skin on them. Now, a lot of times people say, oh, well, taking the silver skin off is kind of a pain in the butt. Well, it is. But honestly, it's better than scoring it, because scoring it still, I've tried just scoring it, and it doesn't have the same effect. So taking it off completely is the best way to go, even if it is a pain. But honestly, that's what gloves are for. So it makes life a little bit easier. Okay, so I got my ribs, and I want to pat these dry because one, it will make it easier to grab the silver skin and peel it. And two, it'll just make it easier. It's easier to work with. Makes life a lot easier. Plus, the seasoning kind of sticks to it a little bit better, which kind of doesn't make sense, but it keeps it from clumping more or less. Which is, you don't want big clumps of pepper in one spot and nothing on the other spot, or clumps of salt in one spot and nothing in the other. So we're gonna go ahead and peel the silver skin off. And there really isn't a starting point on this guy. I'm gonna say he's down here. Okay, peeled the silver skin off, and then I'm just gonna kind of go through, clean up the little bits that it tore off the rib, kind of going through and finding any loose stuff that's gonna burn more than. And then you also want to go through the back side of these and find any bones that kind of got chipped in the manufacturing process, and just make sure that there aren't any loose pieces, because that's the last thing you want to do is bite into a loose piece of bone. It kind of ruins the experience. Okay, that should be good. Okay, and I'm going to evenly salt these and evenly pepper these, and I might go a little heavier on the pepper, just a hair, but you want to about 50-50 for this. Okay, and that is that. All right, so I got my smoker set to 225. We're going to throw these on there, and we're going to smoke them hopefully for about 4 or 5 hours. And then once we get to about so we want these to be about 190. When we get these to about 180, once we've made our sauce, I'm going to take the sauce and baste it on top of the ribs so that the ribs get a nice smoky smoke, or the ribs, the sauce gets a nice smoky flavor to it. But let's throw these on the smoker, and we'll see you guys in a few hours. All right, so our ribs have been in for about 2.5 hours. So while we wait, we are going to go ahead and make our sauce. So it's kind of a lot. It's a mixture of sweet and vinegary kind of sauce. And so let's go ahead and get started on it. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add our tomato paste. Okay, we're gonna turn our heat on low. Then we're gonna add about a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar. Okay, then we're gonna add about a 1/4 cup of honey. We're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of garlic. Okay, then about a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Then we're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of onion. Now, if you want, you can use like a 1/2 of a diced onion instead, but I got this, and I don't have an immersion blender, so I like to use minced onion if I have it, especially since I don't have an immersion blender. This will kind of disintegrate a little bit, and I won't get whole big massive chunks of onion in my barbecue sauce. But if you have an immersion blender, do a half of an onion. Okay, then we're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Okay, then about a teaspoon of chili powder. Okay, tablespoon of W sauce. Okay, and then about a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Okay, then about a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, and a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay, and then lastly, we're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of butter. Okay, then we're gonna stir this and cook this for about 2 or 3 minutes until that butter melts. Give it a nice shine. Excellent. So it's got kind of a sweet vinegary taste to it. It's very nice, very subtle. It's not overpowering, but there you have it. There's your sauce. So we're gonna let our ribs go for another 1/2 hour, and then we'll baste them in our sauce. Let them finish cooking until they reach 195, and we'll have some ribs. All right, so here we have our ribs. They smell amazing. I mean, look at it. They look divine. So let's try these out. Okay, so I'm gonna go right here. Clean and hot and yummy and juicy and everything else. So just look at that smoke ring. I'm so excited. Okay, it's hot. I mean, this bite's gonna be hot, but let's try it. So I ended up smoking it for about 5 hours. And then, so 4 hours, and then an hour with the sauce on it. It's tender. Definitely comes clean off the bone. I couldn't eat all of it because it was hot, but So, my thoughts, the salt and pepper does a really good job at really just focusing on the flavor of the pork. And it really soaks into the pork, which is also good, because most of the time you don't leave seasoning on long enough for it to do anything, and this is very nice. It does come cleanly off the bone, so yeah, but it doesn't come like flying off of the bone, which is also nice because it makes less of a mess. The sauce is interesting. It's definitely a tangy sauce. I really don't know how to describe it. It's kind of a mix between Kansas style barbecue and Carolina style barbecue sauce wise. So I mean, it's still very good. It's still quite yummy. But of the barbecue that I know, if I had to say, it's probably a combination of Kansas and Carolina. These are some dang good ribs. And another thing I did with the sauce was I put it in my blender for a little bit with some water, kind of thinned out, and this is what it looks like all blended up. As you can see, it's still got chunks of garlic in here and whatnot, but I wanted that kind of rustic look to it. But these are some fire ribs. Well, there you have it, guys. Texas style barbecue, the best way I know how, and I'd say we did pretty good. But if you like this video, again, if you're new, make sure you hit that sub button, that notification button, comment down below, tell me what you think. And as always, guys, peace out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.